I don't want anyone watching this video to make these 7 mistakes if you're selling your single family home in this market. Number one of the biggest regrets many homeowners have before listing their home is not knowing their numbers before they list, really. And it's something as easy as just finding out what your mortgage payoff is. Let's say if you have a second mortgage, getting a payoff quote that is imperative. You want to ensure what the closing costs are, the commission, taxes, and if you have any liens. Like in South Florida, we have a lot of like PACE liens. Like if you've done some repairs or some renovations to your home through like windows or roofs, something like that, you'll have a PACE loan and they usually carry a lien. So knowing what those payoffs are crucial because the sale price is not the same as your profit, right? So you might sell your home, let's say 7 or 800,000, but after paying off your mortgage, paying off the liens, and all of your selling expenses, you may walk away with like 280 or whatever that number looks like. So what really matters when you're selling your home is netting the most amount of money. Netting the most amount of money. So knowing your numbers before you list allows you to price strategically, evaluate offers correctly, and make informed decisions without surprises at the closing table. Number two, don't skip repairs because buyers will notice. I wholeheartedly can tell you buyers will notice in this market. Before putting your home on the market, consider working with like a handyman to take care of the small details that can really make a big difference. We're talking things like touching up the interior or exterior paint. Let's say some of that paint is chipping, just having someone, that handyman pressure wash it and just slap on a new coat of paint. Painting the fence. It could just be wear and tear. And let's say you've already just painted it, but it looks kind of old. Clean it up with some Clorox and water. Pressure washing the driveway, patching holes or crack on the interior of the walls, repairing areas where like caulking or molding needs attention. Also, what's also very important is lighting. I can tell you lighting is going to do so much for you. It completely changes the way a buyer experiences your home. Bright lighting can make a space feel larger, cleaner, warmer, and even more inviting. Dark rooms kind of feel like smaller and less appealing. You want to ensure that the buyer can envision themselves living in that home, right? Adding brighter lighting in certain areas like the kitchen. Ensure that you have all the light bulbs in the kitchen, right? Living room, primary bedroom, primary bathroom. The lighting in these certain areas can really make a noticeable difference for the buyers. In today's market, buyers are really, really picky. And buyers are always going to be picky, but more so in this market because they're already dealing with higher interest rates, which means that they're looking for homes that feel move-in ready. They're not necessarily looking for a project or list of repairs that they need to tackle. Small imperfections can also create a bigger concern in a buyer's mind. For example, a small crack in the wall may lead some buyers to believe that there's a foundation issue when that's not even the case. So essentially, you want to ensure that the buyer feels like they're getting a deal. You want to ensure that they can envision themselves, but then they also don't have to do so much work because really with these interest rates, they're high enough to where a buyer at closing may not have that much money for the repairs, right? Or I'm not necessarily suggesting that you hide problems by failing to disclose issues of your home. In the state of Florida, sellers are required to disclose through a seller's disclosure any known defects. It's a requirement. I'm just simply saying take care of the small repairs that are within your control so buyers can focus on the value of your home instead of, the little things that could distract them. Remember that first impressions matter. The goal is to present your home in the best possible condition for the buyers. The buyers really make an emotional decision before they make a financial decision. So your goal is to create a home where they can really walk in and immediately picture themselves living there. Number 3, Don't choose an agent just because they promise the highest price, right? I know it can be tempting. I know it. I know it. I know it. You just want the agent to agree on price with you, but that can be to your detriment. So you want to ensure that they back their pricing with comparables and marketing strategy and not just flattery, right? Because this is going to be one of the biggest investments that you sell, and you want your agent to protect your numbers. Negotiate in a meaningful way, and that is crucial, right? And keep the deal from falling apart. Sellers who pick purely on the highest promised price often uh, start noticing that, hey, that's not a realistic goal. There's no offers the first 15, 20, 30 days. There's no activity. No one's showing up to open houses. No one submitted an offer because oftentimes, these prices that a seller has in mind may not even be an attainable goal. So, by the way, my name is Jenelle Barajas. I'm here in Broward County, Florida. If you're thinking about selling and want to know how I can help you get an offer on your home in under 30 days, my info is right here. All right, going to number 4. Don't skip staging. So it can cost you more than you save. For homes that are vacant, you should consider staging the living room, kitchen, and primary bedroom and make sure it stays clean. Like it has to stay clean, right? Because oftentimes I hear, well, it's empty. So there's nothing for me to keep clean. Well, I mean, you might start seeing bugs, because in South Florida we have bugs. And that may be a detractor for some buyers. So you just want to ensure that you have a cleaning personnel regularly go and clean your home. Now for occupied homes where the sellers are still or the homeowners are still living there, I recommend that you declutter. This is difficult, right? This is difficult because you may have years of stuff inside your home. And you're like, Janelle, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Like, I have to keep it in a room or something. Do you have a shed? Do you have the opportunity of maybe renting a storage? Um, can you host a yard sale and get rid of some of the stuff? Can you donate some of the stuff that you don't need to Goodwill or any of these, not necessarily Goodwill, but wherever you decide to donate, your local charity? Um, Essentially, you want to ensure that you're decluttering because sometimes there can be an excess of stuff in the house that may seem or feel, like the house is smaller than what it actually is. You also want to remove photos. I know that's difficult because this is your home, but you want to remove personal attachment from this home. Store your personal items and ornaments. Less is more. Consider staging. I know that it's still occupied, but there's opportunity for you to stage, right? You can consider staging the living room, kitchen, and primary bedroom for a more cost-effective approach and ensure it remains clean the entire process. You want to make sure you clean your bed. Make your bed in the mornings. You want to ensure that your toilets are clean, your showers are clean. There's no, you know, um, trash laying around. Like your floors are mopped and swept. This is a big business transaction, so you have to treat it accordingly. Now, number 5, don't settle for poor marketing. Ensure your home is photo ready, professional photos and drone shots. That's imperative. Social media video like on YouTube, and you want to ensure your agent is running ads on that. So I'm going to create another video essentially where you're asking questions on when you're interviewing agents. But for now, these are the tips I'm giving you. You want to ensure that your agent created a website. This isn't difficult, right? So you're saying, this is a lot to ask for my agent. If your agent is fully prepared, automatically, this should take your agent 5 seconds to create. When I take on a listing, my landing page takes seconds to create. What doesn't take seconds is creating the YouTube video, right? But Creating a website, it's not that difficult. And you want to ensure that your website contains the professional photos, the YouTube video. Another thing, you want to utilize the coming soon tool. In Florida, the MLS, we have a coming soon tool. And you want to be able to create a buzz with that. Number 6, don't overprice from day one. That is going to be the detriment of the sale. The first 7 to 10 days matter the most. A seller will always know when their home is overpriced, but not communicate that to the agent. Why? Because in their mind, their strategy is, well, let's list high so that we can negotiate the price down. I have heard this time and time again from agents and homeowners. And I can tell you in this market that does not work. Just doesn't. You have to be able to price competitively. And by competitively, I'm not saying, well, you should list the lowest of the lowest. You have to, this is why it's important to review the comparables in the area. Days on market, what's recently sold, how long did it take to sell? That's all very important. And again, going back to the pricing high and the negotiating down, it's just not a good tactic. So if you don't price correctly, your home is going to stay on the market for a month and it will stay stagnant, where you won't receive any offers. And if you do, they're going to be lowball. So in my experience, what I have seen is that most sellers will then say, well, let me start asking chat. Let chat give me a price strategy because I just don't feel like my agent's doing it or they're not capable of doing it, right? Because the seller's just stubborn on that price. And although the agent may be telling them, hey, listen, we should price based on the following, and this is how much we should start off at. And they may not be receptive to that feedback because they're thinking, well, they just want to get rid of it. And oftentimes that can be the case with some realtors, right? Some realtors just want to ensure a sale and they don't care for the best interest of their clients. But there are some really good agents out there that don't, right? They really wholeheartedly care of the outcome of the sale and how much you are looking to net, and they're there to protect that. But let's say you decide, let me start asking chat. Chat is going to tell you what you want to hear. That's just how it is. They're going to tell you, Jane Doe, John Doe, exactly what you're saying is right. Your home is priced perfectly. You just need to rearrange the photos on the MLS. That's probably what chat's going to tell you. And let me tell you, that is inaccurate. It will always come down to price. Like, that's it. Your home is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay. Let me repeat that again. Your home is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay. And I know that sometimes this hurts, right? Because you're like, well, they're not giving me the price that I want. And, they're just disrespectful. And your home is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay. Now, I can say this. There's a lot of things that in real estate you cannot control. That is the market, interest rates, location of the home, and sometimes condition, depending on your financial situation. But you have full control on price depending on how much equity you have in the home. So please don't rely on chat or Zillow to determine price. Work with your agent, collaborate with your agent on retrieving real comparables within a certain radius of your home based on sold, active property, and its days on market. You want to ensure you're reviewing days on market and the properties that are currently active and the properties that are currently sold. Look at how many price reductions they've had thus far, because really they've tested the market for you. You've literally had your neighbors test the market for you. The buyers have said exactly what you need to hear through your neighbors. Number 7, do not just list. You want to launch with a plan. So when you list, don't just wait for the buyers to come to your home and just start, that's ideal, right? That is ideal. I would love that as an agent. But really, our goal is to create urgency. So the first 7 to 10 days are the most important days, like I've said before, after you've listed your home. So you want to ensure you price competitively to get more eyes and possibly multiple offers. In this market, you might say, Janelle, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're saying. You're not getting multiple offers here. No one's buying. People are broke. No one has the money. Let me tell you, that is inaccurate. I have seen properties. I have myself listed properties where we have received multiple offers and just recently a backup offer, right? So I just want to suggest this before you go live. Utilize coming soon tool. Again, this is something that you want to collaborate with your agent. There's the coming soon tool on the MLS. It doesn't impact your days on market. It really just creates a buzz. And that's what you're looking for, right? So once that coming soon tool expires, you want to go live immediately and you want to host an open house, possibly that following weekend. Let's say, for instance, if you host the open house on that weekend and you're getting showing requests during the week, host a private showing, right? I'm not suggesting that host a bunch of open house private showings during the week. If you're getting um, a lot of requests, designate one day, right? And book the showings back to back. It could be the evening on Thursday, something along those lines. In this way, essentially, you want the intention of this is whenever you're creating an open house or you're creating private showings and there's multiple people that would attend, you want the buyers to see all the activity. So that's why you want to book them back to back. And you want them to recognize the value of the home and its urgency. That's crucial. And for the open house, I want to say invite the neighbors. Door knock the day before or the morning of the open house. And by door knock, I mean your agent, right? Your agent should be door knocking the day before, the morning of. In my experience, when I essentially list a home, the homeowner is telling their neighbors. Now, there are times, please tell your agent if there is a neighbor that you don't want in your open house that would essentially attempt to ruin your open house in any way, shape, or form by, just speaking negatively or saying commentary that is just not to your benefit. Let your agent know who that neighbor is so your agent is aware and they can just like tell them to leave. So that's the type of control we have, right? And then also your agent should be coming prepared to the date on the date of the open house with the marketing material. For example, by marketing material, did your agent create a property feature list for your home? I'm going to share with you a recent one that I just did. Property feature list, right? I'm outlining every single detail of the home. Now, it's nice. It's a cutesy little soft brochure and it has the QR code because sometimes these buyers are going to multiple open houses. They might even go to 6 in a day, right? So you want to ensure this home stands out. And it doesn't have to be this cute. It could be a quick one-page printout. But what matters is what is inside this pamphlet. The material information that is contained in this pamphlet. We're talking what was the year it was built, what's the lot size, any HOA information, what are the interior features, what are the kitchen features, let's say bathrooms. What are the features that the bathrooms has? Are there any smart home features? What are the exterior features? When was the I'm sorry. When was the roof last replaced? What about the water heater? How about the AC? All of this. What about the windows and doors? In South Florida, it matters a lot if there's hurricane impact windows and doors. So I'm gonna put roof details, windows details, outdoor living space. If something is old, I'm going to disclose it, right? Because you want the buyer to know that you accounted for every single thing when you decided on price. So there's no surprises. Like the moment that buyer goes into contract, they're going to know, hey, is my roof old? I disclosed it. Is my AC old? I disclosed it. You don't have to disclose if you don't remember the year, right? If you don't remember what year your AC was replaced, it may not show through the permitting. Usually the cities will give you a list of permitting. But if you don't remember, you don't have to necessarily say when. You can just say that it's an older roof, it's an older AC, it's an older water heater. And let's see. There's just so much details that are required in this property feature list. So ensure that your agent is fully prepared. Your agent should be the person with the most knowledge when they're selling this home. So through every open house, through every property tour, your agent should not be questioning the age of the roof, the age of the AC. Let's say if there's some random question about, when was the piping last replaced? Okay, maybe they may not know that. That's fine. But things that are important in this market, roof, water heater, AC, like that should be immediate, right? So if you've done any major repairs, any major renovations, if you have done any piping work, if you have done any rehabs in the property, you should also disclose that to your agent, because this way they'll be able to convey this to the buyer, and in a way that the buyer will understand. Now, in closing, I do have a favor to ask you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if I forgot anything in this video, please comment below, and I will see you in the next video.